Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Football Pundits and MUSCM. Are you confused? Don't be, because this is our second episode of the MUSCM and Football Pundits collaboration. And Animesh and I are here from Football Pundits today, and we've got Vidit and Delvin from MUSCM. What I'm going to do, lads, welcome to Football Pundits, and it's a pleasure to have the two of you here. Before we get into today's hot topic, which is all about the manager at the end, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm just going to let the two of you quickly tell everyone who you guys are, why you love United, and then we'll proceed. So, Vidit, Delvin, good to have you guys. Vidit, why don't you start?
With the Dedia here, I've been a United fan since 05-06. The Champions League final against Chelsea was the moment when I was like, yeah, this is the club for me. In the 17-18 season, I was in the UK and I saw about 13-14 games, including the Crystal Palace 3-2 comeback and the Chelsea 2-1 comeback, Arsenal 2-1 comeback. So it was one epic year of football. And yeah, that has been me and my journey with United.
Good stuff. Delvin, what about you, man?
Yeah, I've been following Man United since 2006, and it was Ruud van Nistelrooy who drew me towards the game. And so from there on, it's been a constant journey of being with the club from their highs into the lows. And for me as well, the pinnacle of our glory was the Champions League final in 2007-08. And yeah, from there on, it's been an amazing and a roller coaster journey as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Delvin, I've noticed you a lot on the lives. With it, I've caught you a few times too, And I think with it, the reason the last 2 years have been terrible for United can come down
What
to
about
just
me?
you. No, you're fine. With it, I blame you for the last 2 years of terrible football because I think you cashed out all the luck when you were in uni over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into today's episodes. Today we're going to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've discussed a lot about Ed Woodward, discussed a lot about the board. You know what? You all can bring it up if you all want, if it justifies a point for you. But let's look at Ole Gunnar himself. Let's look at what he's done over the last 2 years, right? It's almost 2 years since he took charge. Started off against Cardiff, great win. Ended the same season against Cardiff very poorly. Last season, then we all saw what happened. Ups and downs, not back, got us through. Mixed fortune this season again, doing well in the Champions League, not so much in the league. So Ole, what we've seen over the last 2 years is a mixed bag. So let's just talk about what he's done right, what he's done wrong, and is it justified in the end, the criticism he gets from everyone else, right? How about, I'll ask you guys a simple question, and whoever wants to start can start first. What, according to you guys, what's the one good thing he's done since he's taken over? And when I mean that one good thing, I don't mean that just being a motivational leader for the players. He's made a real impact, which is from day one.
So for me, the biggest thing that he's done is he's managed to improve that overall morale of that entire squad. So from the time he was appointed as interim manager, so when he came in, that squad was at an all-time low. We had a talented squad then as well, but the team bonding, the team morale, the spirit in that group was absolutely rock bottom and very, very fragile. Because there was an open show of Mourinho going against the board, and then there were player conflicts. There was an open video of Mourinho and Pogba going at it and each other in a training session. So all this went on to have a very negative spiral towards, which culminated in the end game of Mourinho getting sacked. So from the time that Ole has come back, there is a much more jovial atmosphere, be it in the dressing room or be it in the way that the players acknowledge their press conferences. He's gotten a lot of good things as well. So he's gotten the tradition of all the players wearing suits for the home games. It is one of the most underrated aspects, So keeping in mind the traditions of the club, you come to the club for a home game dressed up in your club colors. So that is one of the important things that Ole has brought in. And the most important thing as well is got the players who are ready and willing to put in a shift. Like they're ready to run to the ground for the badge. And the biggest example for that is Scott McTominay himself. So for me, the biggest impact that Ole has had is he's got that team as a unit. He's made that collective mercurial bunch of individuals into a fully functioning squad. Yes, not perfect, but yes, he's got them functioning the way that a team works.
Essentially, he's got the players to respect the badge. What is happening
Exactly.
was we've gotten the kind of players you think who weren't living up to the hype, that got in poor morale into the squad, money in some players, not money being back to the other players. Herrera let go of, Angel Gomez, a lot of shit going up and down, right? But you're saying Ole's balanced that out.
Yes.
I don't know, Abby, we've discussed this very candidly. And I don't know whether then you can bring it up or what. But there is also claim that maybe Ole is a little over his head when it comes to dealing with a bigger talent, right? Example, he doesn't know what really is happening with Pogba.
Yeah, that's a very, very valid point. And I like what Delvin says when he talks about, bringing in not just the attacking flair of the year under Sir Alex Ferguson, but also the culture and traditions under Sir Alex Ferguson. I think that went a bit missing, which a lot of ex-players spoke about, right? Right from the day David Moyes walked in, for example, Patrice Evra and Rio Ferdinand have said something just intrinsically changed. The dressing room was never the same. Coming to what you just referred to, Annie, big egos and all of that. I think Paul Pogba's problem is more Paul Pogba. In fact, if anything, I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed to, and this I speak, at the time of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming in, it looked like Pogba was doomed. Just couldn't get along with Mourinho. It seemed certain that he'd be out by January, if not by May. And I think he did well to keep Paul Pogba. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a great man manager, which therefore I'll come to Vidit. A lot of people say that, he's great at putting his arm around players. And this is the criticism of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? He's great at putting his arm around players. He's great at massaging egos. He can handle a dressing room of superstars. But beyond that, tactically, he's woeful. He's not a tactician. He has no tactics. That's one argument that's made. But with it, I'd like to also remind people that, he has orchestrated some of the greatest victories in the club's career against some of the biggest opposition. So where do you stand on this Ole is a bad tactician argument?
I think I agree to the bad tactician part, but what I think a lot of people miss out is the expectations that we should have for Ole are quite different from the previous managers that we had. I think with the previous managers, we were looking to recruit someone who would get instant success, probably get a title in 1-2 years, and then get us back to the United level. But when Ole was brought in, I think he was brought in to bring back the United spirit. I think it was a very common acceptance that the United spirit had been lost in the dressing room. So he was brought in to bring that back, and I think in that terms the expectation should be very different in terms of whether he's a good tactician or whether he's a good man manager.
It's funny you say that. I kind of again agree and disagree, and that's the whole point of this, right? Abby has had discussions with all and MUFC multiple times at Pundits as well. It's not just about one club but other clubs. But coming just to Ole here, everyone can have different opinions. No one is 100% right. No one's 100% wrong. Okay, we all are trying to put that big picture together, at least when it comes to United today. I kind of disagree that because I think Ole, yes, he's not the greatest tactician around. Even he knows it. We all know it. No one bluffs over that. Where I feel is that he doesn't get enough credit on the games he does get right. On the games he does get right, he's been made to look at, no, the players showed up today. When he does do poorly, the players were fine. He showed up tactically very wrong. So that's where I feel it's a very biased thing about the people who already want him out of the club. And I'll go on the next point, okay? And yeah, Delvin, you can take that over. Do you think that Ole is never going to really be respected by a certain faction of the fan base because he's not a Mourinho, not an Allegri? And the irony is the same faction of fans want Pochettino, who's proved, let's be honest, fuck all.
So yes, like you said, there will always be this one section of supporters who will say Ole out. Actually, if you see a couple of poor results here and there, and it's not just our fans, it's the entire English media that's bashing him currently. So we are just one poor result away from once again Ole out dominating the back pages of their newspapers. But it needs to be understood that there are two more clubs who are having a very worse season than us at this stage, and that's Man City and Arsenal, who are immediately below us. But yet they do not get the same amount of flack that Ole does, because they are the so-called darlings of the English press. Just because Pep is an elite manager and Arteta used to pick training cones for him in Man City. So that's the reason why they are not getting the same flack that United and Ole do get. For me, Ole is doing a very good job considering the fact that this season he's been hung out to dry. And yes, there have been certain misconceptions about the fact that Ole is only a counter-attack and inshallah merchant and all that. But yes, there are various facets of the game that he's been working on. And the biggest example is the Everton game that we had only one, the third goal, that is the Cavani goal that came from the counter. That is because Everton were help Trent on pressing for that equalizer. But the other two goals, they were like a slick pattern and a slick play that was like a training ground move, one could say. That was how it was engineered, especially the Bruno first goal, the equalizer. So yes, there will be criticism, and there will be that's for all managers exactly. Criticism is always a part of the job.
I'm going to jump in here and give you, especially Vidit, a completely different point of view, which is, if you ask me, I'm not saying Oli is the greatest tactician I've ever seen, but I think this talk about Oli being a bad tactician is, I think it's so wrong, it's so incorrect, because if you look at the way that United was set up last season towards the end, when we went on that incredible, I call it title winning form, right? When you go to 18, 17 games unbeaten, that is title winning form. Yes, Bruno Fernandes had a major part to play in that, right? His form, and we got very lucky with the fact that, a signing like that could come so good. But then if you look at the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has unlocked a player called Anthony Martial. I don't remember Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho unlocking Anthony Martial. Look at the way he unlocked Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford till last season or till 2 seasons ago when Ole took charge was only a player of immense potential. He became the world beater Marcus Rashford under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think there is a lot more that we don't talk about when it comes to his football. And the other point that I want to bring in is, and I know this is not a conversation about the board and about the owners, but then much like what had happened with Louis van Gaal and with David Moyes and with Jose Mourinho, the manager hasn't been backed again. Oli had a vision this season. He said that, I've managed to pull this club into the top 4, third in fact, not even just the top 4, third. I need 3 players to go and mount a title challenge. That didn't happen, right? So conveniently, and I remember saying this over the summer, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will lose his job because this narrative of him not being backed will diminish once we lose 3 games in the Premier League. Once our form goes, fans will forget that he was not backed. The ire and the anger and the anguish against the owners is going to be forgotten, and the manager, as his football, will come under stress and duress, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now, right? Fans are turning on the manager. I'm not hearing any slack on.
Abhi, sorry, I want to come in. That's exactly you. Thank you. You led me to my next point. We as fan bases tear ourselves apart. Nobody does anything. We do it ourselves. Like I said, it is not possible to control. I can't, even if I don't like it, I can't control your point of view, his point of view. But that's the whole point, to accept it, right? But when we go out and start saying stuff like, oh, he puts on players who are just pace merchants. Oh, he only has a job because he's a legend. Any other manager would have been sacked by now. Yeah, possibly. Sure, he would have been sacked by now. But if you are telling me he's such a bad manager, such a bad tactician, such a bad leader, there is no way he comes back from where he was at the midway last season, gets into the top 3 against the odds if he was all those things. So if you actually believe with whatever everyone else has been saying, you have to eat your words because he proved you wrong. Now what's happened is, now that happened, so people shut up for a bit. But 3 games gone into the season, lost to Palace. Yes, it sucked. Even I lost my plot. I get angry when Rashford misses open chances, guys. I slate him on every WhatsApp group possible because for me, they are 5 players in for 4-5 years now. If you're not clinical, it's a problem. I'll tell you why it's a problem now. I think the problem here is bringing it out from Ole. I think Ole has backed the right players. Ole knows what starting 11 is. He knows he wants Rashford to be a leader over there. He knows who he wants, right? When those players go missing, it always comes down to Ole. And I think it's obviously fair manager gets flack. But this is what Abhi was saying, right? Where does it come to the point where you decide as fans that, guys, the players are really, really slacking in some games and they need to be, I'm not saying go attack them and racially abuse them. That's also bullshit. Like, you need to stop doing that shit also. But there is constructive criticism, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with it, we've spoken about some of the bad and some of the criticism that's been directed at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Let's talk about some of the positives now. Let's get back to that. Arguably, all his signings have come good. If you look at them overall, right? Dan James, Bruno Fernandes, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'd even say Harry Maguire. So clearly there is an eye for talent, and clearly there is an eye for recruitment at the very least. What do you make of Ole's signings till date and some of the players that he's been interested in signing so far?
I think brilliant. He's been brilliant at his signings. And again, I think to answer the first question Animesh started at the episode is, what is the one thing I think Ole has been strongest at his term in United. So I think that is the competition he's brought in the 11 with his transfers. I think except for the wingers, all the other places in the 11 have very good competition, and that is down at a very good percentage. That is down to his transfer strategies. He's brought in a good left back. He's brought in Edinson Cavani over Odion Igalo to compete for the striker position. So yeah, I think his transfers have been really good. And over the past seasons, we were trying to get that one marquee signing. And I think this summer window, even without getting that one marquee signing, it's still been a much better transfer window than I think compared to the previous ones.
All right, Vidit, fair enough. So, before we officially close, we've all brought up some interesting points about Ole, and we can go on and on about that. But if you had to say what you've seen so far this season, know what you all know, hear what you all hear all over the place, where do you all stand on Ole? And what do you think will happen with United come May?
I think I'm completely in for Ole, like 2 or 3 reasons. One is the other alternative that we are looking at is Poch, and I don't think Poch is a manifold improvement over Ole. He's probably a marginal improvement, and I'd rather be with someone who's right now the manager rather than going in this roundabout of sacking managers, getting the transfer window wrong, and again getting another manager. So I'd rather not do that and be with the current manager. Another point, I think with Ole, again, as I mentioned about the evaluation of his tenure, I don't think we should be looking at Ole's tenure in terms of a series of 2 or 3 matches. We need to look at his tenure in a larger spectrum, on a larger patch. I don't think after Ferguson there has been a period of 2 years where we've improved so much. So I think with Ole, that is where my feeling is. I think if you want a long improvement, or a rebuild which is going to last for very long, we need to do this slow method of probably having 2 or 3 bad games and having 6 or 7 good games and slowly build on that. Like I don't remember the last United 11 that played consistently for 8 or 10 games. We haven't come to that level yet. And I think with Ole, when that happens, when he finds his 11, we'll start improving, and then we'll be back for good and for a very long time. So in that sense, yeah, I'm pretty much Ole.
Vidit, thank you so much for that. Delvin, before you speak, I want to just add this line in between, and then Abby can bring up to it after you're done talking, Delvin. So when we accept Ole as our manager for the seasons to come, we are not accepting mediocrity like a lot of other fans think we are. Because the talk about accepting mediocrity is not just with the players, but also with the likes of an Ole. People have a problem with Ole without his credentials, right? I don't. I think what Vidit said makes sense. Back the guy. Delvin, do you agree with that? Like, you think that's BS point that people make?
Yeah, it's a totally baseless statement. You say that Ole has just got the United job because of the legacy that he had as a player. I mean, there are so many managers currently or formerly who are employed with respective teams just because they had the CV for their club. For example, Andrea Pirlo at Juventus. There was a time when Gennaro Gattuso was AC Milan manager just because...
Alan Shearer at Newcastle.
Yes, exactly. We all knew how Alan Shearer's tenure at Newcastle ended. So out of all of this, I personally am a strong advocate of Ole being in the job because like Abhishek put up a very valid point of Ole's spotting talent. We have 2 young and very precocious wingers in Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo who's yet to come in. And they both are young. Like, I mean, they're a similar age bracket as Mason Greenwood. And if anyone who can nurture them, anyone who can get them from unproven, untested potential to genuine players of quality and skill, I personally put my money on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting out the best of them. Because if he could get out the best and the most productive season of Martial and Rashford's career in the last season, give him little time with Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri, and he could actually work wonders with them, And he has actually assembled a very good squad, This squad is actually capable of challenging for the trophy. I'm going to be very honest about it. This squad has all the makings of a title challenger. Yeah, it's just those inconsistent bits that happens with every team. But I firmly believe that Ole should be our manager for the foreseeable future. Yes.
Love it, man. Love it, Delvin. I think you've summed it up beautifully. And these are my thoughts exactly, right? I think he is a very good manager. I don't care whether, if he were to lose a job and whether he's capable to become manager of another top club. I don't care because he is at the greatest club in the world, right? And he is at the helm, and he's made fans like you and I very, very happy. So guys, thank you so much for being on this very special episode between the Football Pundits and the Manchester United Supporters Club. of Mumbai. Guys, for those of you watching, do give the MUSCM a follow. Some very good Manchester United content in there. You'll see some familiar faces as well. And of course, thank you for watching the Football Pundits. And until next time, you can follow all of us here on our respective handles. You can hit Vidit and Delvin up privately as well if you disagree with what they had to say. But till then, have a wonderful evening. We really hope Ole stays at the wheel. And until next time, it's goodbye.
See you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.